This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only and contains jokes, satire, and language that may not be suitable for all audiences. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect the opinions of any employers or sponsors. The stories we share are our version of events. If you believe a story we share is about you and you remember it differently, please, by all means, go start your own podcast and tell your truth. Hey everyone, welcome back for the second half of Lisa W.'s What's an Old Hoe to Do? Career Pivots After 40. All right, let's get after it. I started this other job, and you guys, I'm just going to say I have worked with some lovely people. Some of the people that I look back on today, and I'm like, wow, they were awesome, and I hope they're doing great. The best part about the rebound job is that I was still in, and it was like a super conservative brand, and it was like not me at all. But the people I met were great, and it was right down the street from my old location. So I could walk by and watch the unraveling, like legit. So every single person that wanted something that they got, because, there were promises made, well, everything I had told them would happen, that they were not strong enough in this area or that area, came to fruition. So quite literally, I got a text message from one of our old stock people. And they're like, so we would have a week every year that was like $1 million week. And they were like, you need to go down and just have a sit in front of the store. Just have a sit. And I was like, I don't want them to see me. They're like, oh, it's not even the same people. They're not even going to know because they've all been fired. And I was like, what do you mean they've been fired? He's like, they were drinking on the job and they got caught and they got fired. And I was like, what? That's what you should have led with. And they were like, no, go down and just have a sit. You guys, I went down and it was like a horror movie. Like, things are on the ground. I'm pretty sure there was a small fire in the back. Like, people are running. Like, it was pure pandemonium and chaos. And it was very satisfying. I'm not going to lie. I was like, and that's what you all get. Good. So,
and they probably did $2.
If that much, right? And it was nice. It was nice to see. Yeah. The universe really took care of me. Like, it made me feel better. But still, I was kind of like, you guys, I still was like, my heart wasn't really in it anymore. And I didn't want to work nights and weekends. And I was like, stop. I didn't want to work holidays anymore. And I was like, so I went against my better judgment. And someone approached me and they're like, hey, and it's for a brand that is very saucy, like saucy brand. And I was like, it's not really my vibe, but they were like, we're opening a location that is not going to be open after 8 p.m. weeknights and 5 p.m. weekends, and they're closed on all holidays. And I was like,
sign me up.
Sign me up. So what do we know about things that sound too good to be true, Lisa?
They are.
Every time.
Every time.
It's never like, you guys, trust me when we tell you, everything comes with a catch, right? So and never meet your heroes. Like, these people were people I had looked up to for years, like years and years. Because, it's a really tight community. When you all are working high volume, you're all working next door to each other. Like, it's very, very incestuous almost, but I really looked up to these people. Like, I thought they really had it all figured out. Plus, they were beautiful and like super cool and like
savvy.
all the things, like super savvy and like just like they had it all together. And I was like, they were like, we will give you everything you want. Like, we've been waiting for this opportunity to have you come and do the great things you do, but do them for us. And I was like, okay. And it was
all the right things.
Yeah. And so I go, and my people that I was leaving were devastated, right? Because they were like, why? Like, we're doing great. Why would you leave? And I was like, I just don't want to work nights and weekends. And I remember one of my people saying, they are lying to you. This is a trap. And it's like a honey trap. Do not do it. Like, don't do it. Like, wait until they open the other location. And I was like, I was not making great decisions because I was not in it. My head wasn't in it. My heart wasn't in it. And I remember, like,
you were still in recovery, though.
I was totally in recovery. Like, it even had been a few years, but it was still very raw. And I was like, okay, so I go to this company and I start with this company and it is a mess. There's mice in the stock room. They haven't cleaned the bathroom in 10 years. Like, it's
Mm.
gross. And they're all sharks. None of them are actually earning any of their funds or stealing it from each other.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, like, all right, like, we'll figure this out. Well, we were having a huge problem keeping talent. I wonder why.
I wonder
And so
why, yeah.
I had done this networking thing that I've always done that when you teach it to people, they really kind of understand the power of networking versus recruiting. We'll talk
Okay.
about it in
Yeah.
another episode. So I roll it out in the store. We have wild success. So they have me roll it out to the district. And, these are people that have never gotten any development. So, and they're all about what they make, like sales wise. So, talking to
Okay.
them about anything was distracting and not like wasn't received well. We'll just put it that way.
Okay.
But I was like, it's all right. It's not always a winner.
Mhm.
Then they had success and our turnover decreased like overnight. And it was so remarkable that my district manager comes in and tells me in the one afternoon they're no longer opening the other location. And I'm like, well, when do I get that schedule then? And she's like, we never promised you that. I'm like, you did. That was the whole reason I joined. She's like, well, I don't know what this person promised you, but I never committed that to you. I never would have
Mm.
committed that to you. So gut blow. And then they say, can you document your networking process? Because I need to see it. I need to understand what you guys are doing. Because, I definitely noticed results, but I don't know why. I can't attribute it to this
Sure.
necessarily. Like, just
Mhm.
kick me again, right? Just tell
Mhm.
me that my stuff is not successful. Just like keep hitting me. And I was like, fine. And I remember that at the end of that day, I was coming into work the next day. And remember, it's a very saucy brand, right? So
That's
I'm sitting there in my car wearing a pair of jeans that are too small for me, probably. Like they were way too tight, a pair of like cork heels,
ugh.
some like glittery, sparkly sweater. And then you had to accessorize. So I had all this gold bangle jewelry on, and it was just the worst. It didn't represent me at all. And I just was like, how did I get here? Like,
Yeah.
I am in the wrong, like, how did I get here? This is nothing about what I'm doing represents me as a whole. And
Yeah.
that was bad enough. But then there was the catalyst event. So
Okay.
soon after this happened, and I know it's like I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do because I just don't know. Right. So I start manifesting. I'm
Okay.
like, I want a job where I'm not working nights and weekends. I want a job where I make X dollars a year. I want a job where I don't work holidays. I don't have to work my birthday. I don't have to work anybody's birthday. I want a job that makes me feel good about what I do. And I was looking around and I saw none of those things. Like it did not exist in my in
Especially not in the industry.
in my
They
whole universe.
Mhm.
Nobody had that. So I start looking, went on to Indeed.com, or I think at the time it was Monster.
I think it was Monster back then, yeah.
And I was like, and I still give this advice out today, but with modern search engines. And it really did change my life because I started entering all of the things that I wanted into like the little fields and then to see the jobs that would come up. And there was like doctor, lawyer, car wash owner, and I'm like, none of these things are me. And then I would find a job and I would just apply for it and I don't have any qualifications. And the fact they're even talking to me was like amazing. So I was like, okay, none of this is working. I can't get another job outside of this industry. Like I have to go back to school. And that was something that without really trying to map a pathway to get out of the bad situation I was in and to
Mhm.
get what I wanted. Had I not had Monster to like look to see what was available or possible, I
Yeah.
would have never known that in order to get what I wanted at that particular time, I needed a degree. So I started thinking about that and I put that in my hat. And, it's still kind of like not really panning out. And it's Friday and it's mail pack day.
Okay.
So, getting ready for Friday. And I go in and I'm like, I'll get the mail pack open and get, all the important company documents all sorted out. They're like, okay, great. And I open the mail pack and I will never forget it. I pull out this new manual and it is my
It's
networking program
oh,
with her name on it. And it's being rolled out company wide. And it was
she
like,
stole your
she stole it straight up, stole my
frick
whole thing.
jackass.
And then literally there's a letter at the time. This company was owned by the owner, and there's a letter from the owner talking about, how he values her innovation and her ability to find new and creative ways to do accomplishments, and that this has had a 70% impact on the area that she's in, and this much cost savings has been
That pisses me
generated.
off so bad.
And I was like, "Are you serious right now?"
Oh
And, like, you
my
guys, it's one of those things that,
gosh.
like, the rage that I felt, I was so impotent to do anything about it. I couldn't do anything. Even when I confronted her, she denied it. And I was like, "I have the document that I sent you."
You're like,
That,
"It's
and
right
by the way, there
here."
was no, like, emailing. It was a word
Yeah,
processor that
we
I
didn't
printed
have
up.
email.
And
It was a
I gave
voicemail.
and I gave it to her, right? So, like, I remember this moment
Oh,
so, like, feeling
Lisa.
like there was nothing I could do, and I remember
Mm.
this is where it gets real, you guys. This is where you
Mm.
have to be brave, and you just have to make the decision to go. So I come home, and keep in mind at the time, I'm the breadwinner in my house.
'Kay.
I'm not now, but at the time, I really was, and my salary like, it was
Yeah.
the reason we could live our lives, and then he had gotten a new job, and his salary tripled overnight, and he was then the breadwinner, but it had been a pretty short time, and I was still making pretty damn good money for what I was doing at the time, and I was like, I come home, and I was like, "I have to talk to you." He's like, "Okay." And I had kind of been talking to him about that I wanted to get out of because remember, you guys, it infects every relationship.
Yeah,
Everything you talk about
everything you
becomes
do.
about the bad situation. No matter how great you are at compartmentalizing, eventually it infects everything and every relationship. So had been hearing me talk about it to anyone who would listen for years, right? So
Yeah.
I had to get his attention because it was time. And I said, "Look, I am leaving retail. I'm done. I'm resigning this week and I need to go back to school and I need to get a degree." And he immediately was like you could
Like,
see
I'm wondering how he answered that.
that it was not, he was like, kind of like, "Not this again." You know what I mean? And so I was very brave because I worship my husband. We all know that. But I was like, "Look, I love you. I do. But if I have to move home and live with my parents to go back to school, that's what I'm going to do
That's pretty courageous.
because I can't do this another fucking day."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, you don't have to do that, but like, what do you think school is going to do?"
Yeah, I will.
But I was like, "Look, I've been trying to tell you in every way that I can that this is a bad, toxic situation and that
Yeah.
sometimes it's really not all about the money. And I can't get anywhere else. I have tried and tried and tried, and I've done all these weird, crazy things trying to get a job in any industry that will allow me to have nights and weekends off." And I went through like my manifesting wish list. And he was like, "Can I think about a different path?" And I was like, "Well,
Okay.
yeah, but I've exhausted it all and I'm leaving retail. That is happening. And I hope that we can do it together. But if not, I'll call my parents and tell them I'm coming home because I got to get out of this situation. It's going to kill me. Like, it's going to kill me." And
Yeah.
so he says, "Let me think about it. We'll talk about it, but I just need some time to process and figure out what next steps might be possible." And he was so kind and so not
Mm,
like I
so
didn't just throw the
lucky.
gauntlet down like I did, you know? He was on my side for sure and was like, "I'm going to help you figure this out."
So
And
lucky.
so, you guys, this is where I'm going to tell you that not everybody is going to be given this opportunity. And it is because I picked the right partner. So my partner is 1,000% ride or die for me. I mean, honestly, I'm a lot.
Yeah.
You can imagine what it's like to be with me full time. But he really does have my back in every situation.
He
And this was one
does.
of those situations. So his new job that he had gotten was in another city and
Mhm.
it was far. He was commuting every week like 6 hours each way and in a different time zone. And he said,
Mhm.
he's like, "They've been asking me to move and to be in this other place, but the cost of living is insane. We have this beautiful house here. We would barely be able to afford an apartment there. And I just don't know how we're going to make that happen if you aren't working. He's like, but I think I can leverage, a trade. And I was like, you don't want to move there. You say that all the time. Like every single time you come home, you're like, I'm never going back until I absolutely have to. Like it's painful for
Yeah.
you. And so he went to his company and he said, I will move there and relocate there. But in order for me to do that, my wife needs a job. Like, can you help me
Yeah.
find something for her? And they literally just said, absolutely, whatever you need, get here. He threw himself on a sword to
Mhm.
help me. And they didn't promise they would get me a job. They were just going to help me get a job. Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
And he was like, as soon as she's gainfully employed, we will relocate full time. And so, not a lot of people would sacrifice their own happiness and what they want for their partner. And he a thousand
That
percent
is
did
true.
that. And so here I am going to this other city very frequently. And I quit my job in retail. I went in, it was like, I'm never
That's
coming back,
brave.
bitches.
Yeah.
And literally, like,
Yeah, that is
threw it
brave.
in the air. I'm like, you can all suck it. Never coming back. Never
Did you
coming to the
rage
mall.
quit or did you just quit?
Quit, but I was very honest about why I was quitting.
Okay.
And even in the face of proof, denial was the exit
Mm,
attitude. Like,
freaking
no, this
snake.
wasn't you. This was us. And I'm like, you're on dope. Like, I'll see you all later. So, and again, never meet your heroes because our relationships were never the same. I never talked to them. I never looked back. But
Yeah.
so let's talk about the process of what it was like for someone who was a little bit older but trying to get a new job and
And you're in a
trying
new
to
city now,
in a new
or
city
have
that
you
I've
moved yet?
not yet, but I was
Okay.
traveling there a lot. So
Okay.
you guys, I'm interviewing for jobs and I don't have a college degree. I don't know how to use a computer because I was in a job where I would show up at meetings and what I was thinking was I told somebody what I wanted to do and I'd show up and it would be behind me on a screen. So like I never had to and this sounds very diva of me, but I was the talent. I never had to
Hey.
do the production part of it. And I didn't know how to do any of that. And imagine these people in an office environment. And you're like, you don't have a degree, you have no experience, and you don't know how to use a computer. And I'm like, but I am worth it. I will do the job of three people. And they were like, thanks, but no thanks. My husband brought me to a happy hour with one of his bosses. So he brings me to a happy hour with one of his bosses who happens to be older and very salty.
Okay.
And I liked him immediately. And he kind of is like, "So what's your deal?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm looking for a job." And he's like, "Well, what do you do?" I'm like, "Whatever you need." And he's like, "That could go in a lot of ways." I said, "I am in favor of sex work being legalized. Like I don't have a problem with it." And he's just laughing. And he's like, "I'll tell you what, sweetheart." He's like, "You come to an interview tomorrow and talk to my team. I love your husband. He's amazing. He's saving the day on an hourly basis, and we need him here all the time. But I'm sure you're not bad." He's like, "At least you're nice to look at. So we'll figure this out." And I was like, I may have just set the women's movement back 50 years, but I got an interview, right? Which was with the
Hey.
client, which was more than I'd been able to do on my own. So I go
Yeah.
in and when I prepare for an interview, I learn everything I can about whatever it is I'm going to be talking about.
Mhm.
So
Smart.
I read and read and read, and I looked everyone up like on the internet because LinkedIn didn't exist yet. And I got
No.
everything I could to know about this particular environment I was going into. And I walk into a room. And you guys, one of the things I think is missing today is we do a lot of virtual interviews. And when we're virtual, we can't
Oh,
really read the vibe.
I
Like,
agree.
it's really tough, right? So when I walked in, I sat down and kind of talked to everybody. I got immediately that these guys were old school dudes. Like none of my fancy, like, here's all the things that I've done in my career was what they wanted to hear. And so I just kind of like let them talk about what it was they wanted. And I remember the like industry was aircraft and
Mhm.
they were like, well, what do you know, what can you tell us about aircrafts? I'm like, well, I've been on a plane and I liked it. And he's just like, and then one of the guys that was going to be my manager was like,
Yeah.
hey, we work really hard here. Are you going to be comfortable? Sometimes
Mm.
throughout the year, like White has to stay late. We might come in early. And I was like, in my
You're like,
last
"You have
job,
no idea."
I was like, and I literally said, in my last job, I worked 60 to 65 hours a week, and I haven't had Thanksgiving or Christmas off in 12 years. Is it harder than that? And I genuinely was asking because I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, can I work more? And I'm like, is it harder than that? He spits his coffee out, and it's like, no, no, it's not harder than that. What has happened to you? And I was like, it's just like a different thing. So
Abuse.
it's just a
Abuse
different,
happened.
I came from a different career, a different background.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it went really well. And, they were really funny and I was funny and we gelled right away. And afterwards, I was like, I have to come clean. Like, they got to know I don't know how to use a computer. So I followed the one that I was going to would be my manager if I was hired, that I had kind of
Mhm.
really connected with. And I was like, hey, I have a confession to make. And he's like, already? You haven't even started yet. And I was like, yes, I know this, but I feel like I need to be honest about something because it may impact whether or not you want me. And he was like, okay, what is it? I was like, I don't know how to use a computer. And he was like, at all? I'm like, no. He's like, what about like Word and Excel? I'm like, what are those? And he's like, okay, okay. We have training programs as long as you commit yourself to learning them and training and you really
That's
keep
great.
at it until you figure it out, then we will do it. I mean, it was the best I could have possibly hoped for.
I mean,
The best.
honestly,
Do you remember when I first started? So you guys remember, like, we came from retail where image was super important, right? And we
it
would
was
go to
what
like,
was important, and then delivery was next.
yeah, I mean, we would go to corporate headquarters with empty suitcases and
Uh-huh.
buy all the newest stuff because
Yep.
that's what they expected. So you would come in
Yep.
and like every day it was like a Miss America pageant. Like
Yes.
if your hair and your makeup and your shoes and everything was not top notch, like
And
you
brand
let
new.
yeah, you were called out, like publicly called out for it. So
Remember when we couldn't wear anything that went on markdown? Like, if something went on markdown,
oh, you
which
can only
can
wear current, modern
current. Yeah.
stuff, current season stuff. 100,
Yeah.
like it
Anyway.
was a different world, you guys, different
Yeah.
world. But so I walk into this environment, like I remember corporate headquarters where I had been, like there was no food anywhere, like anywhere,
No.
because you didn't eat. That was for other
Yeah.
people. And so like you had to be like a super thin, never eat. You could drink all you wanted.
You
I
could
think they
drink all you want
they
all
served
day, all
vodka for
night,
breakfast, but you
but
couldn't
no
eat
food.
any food. So I remember walking into the
Yeah.
cafeteria and there is a donut bar, like a whole buffet of donuts. And I was like, oh my God, there's a donut bar. And I immediately called, I think I called you, I called everyone I ever met. And I'm like, you guys, they have donuts here. Like, it's crazy. And then, like, I mean, I really hit the jackpot with this job
Yeah.
because
You
not
sure
only
did.
did I like have this like great environment where like I could kind of be myself and like I look like $1,000,000 all the time. Most people around me were coming to work in their pajamas because the image just that was not what was important. It was a science-based environment.
Sure.
How I ended up there, I'm like good looks and a sassy attitude. That's how I ended up there.
And
It
no
was
computer skills.
didn't even know how to use a computer. And I remember like every day I would meet with my boss and I would be like,
Uh-huh.
okay, here's and you guys, people really do matter. Like this
Yes.
guy every day was like, well, what did you learn in Microsoft Office class? And I would tell him and I would be so excited to show him. And then he was like, okay, well, let's do a PowerPoint presentation. And I remember like I've learned how to do all the bells and whistles, you know?
Mhm.
So like I
Like
sent
the
him this
flashing in and out and the
so
blinking.
I sent him a PowerPoint that's got like a spinning star and like
You really did it.
yeah, the pulsing and then it was like we're doing great like with like scrolling so much and he was like this is great, like this is
For
really great.
kindergarten.
You guys, I look back as I've grown in my career and changed jobs, I look back as I'm transferring over processes and files to someone who's replacing me. I look at like my older work and I'm like,
Yeah.
was I drunk? Like, it's so bad. It's so like the formatting's like up and down and sideways, and it was so
Oh,
bad. And but he was so kind to me. And like the best part
that's what you
was that we
needed.
sat down. I'm like gonna cry 'cause I'm laughing so hard.
Me
But
too.
we were sitting down and he was
Mm.
like, "This is where we're," and he gets real serious. And I'd been there for like 3 months, and every day I would literally tell him, like, "I just don't wanna get fired." Like, I'm not afraid to make a mistake, and I'm not afraid to learn, but please don't fire me.
Oh,
Please don't fire
that's
me. And for the record, I forgot to add when I
it's a
got this job.
PTSD response.
Right. But when I got this job, I took a 70% pay cut
Mm,
just to get into the
yeah,
door. So not only am I poor for the first time in a long time in a
yeah.
city that is 3 times as expensive as where I came from, but I am begging to keep this job because it's so like it is everything I wanted other than the money piece, you know? And
Right.
so he brings me in, he's real serious, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "I want to have a talk with you." And I'm like, he closes the door and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. It's happening." And I'm like, my mind is racing, like, what did I do? And he's like, "What's next for you?" And I'm like, "Tuesday?" Like, and he's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I want a job where I make a lot of money. Like that would be great." And I said, "I want to work Monday through Friday and I want to work but I will work weekends." And he's like, "Yeah, but what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I want to be the best." He's like, "At what?" I'm like, "I don't know yet. I don't know what the best is here." And he's like, we're gonna do one thing. You've gotta
Mhm.
get a degree. You have to." And I said, "Well, that's number 1 on my list." Like, I had put going back to school on hold because I had changed cities and I started a new job and, like, I
Yeah.
had gotten most of what I wanted, and my husband threw himself on a sword for me to get me this and to get me in an environment where I would have a shot to change my life. Like, I don't wanna ask for more, you know? And he was like,
Right.
"We're gonna do this." He's like, you're gonna go to school full time
Mm.
and you're gonna do your schoolwork all day. And we're gonna
During the
talk
workday?
during the workday."
Dang.
And he's like, "And we're gonna talk about your classes, and I want you to get your degree in public administration."
He
And
seems
I was
pretty
like,
amazing.
"Okay." He's like, "And then when you get this
Mm.
degree," he's like, "then we're gonna talk about what's next." He's like, and he explained to me that without a degree, I was gonna be in this entry level admin role forever because you
Yeah.
had to get certain things to qualify to get up and out. And I was like, "Okay." And so you guys, like when I tell you that I went back to school, like my whole floor went back to school. Like anytime I had a project, he would be like, "Everyone needs to go help Lisa Wilson on this project because it's about public administration." Literally, he had the historian of the organization sit with me
Unbelievable.
and help me do a thesis paper on where I was at. Like it was, and when
That's incredible.
I mean, just imagine walking through and everyone's like, "What'd you get on that test?" Like we were all in it together
I
and
love that.
they were so wonderful. And when my parents both got sick back to back and I lost both of my parents and I had
Mhm.
to move back home to try to
It's a
help
tough
them
time.
and I couldn't work and do it. And my boss said, "Okay, look, like, you need to stay in school. You got to stay in school." And I was like, "I promise you, I may not go full time because I'm taking care of a parent who's dying, but I will do my
Yeah.
best." And I went to in-person classes at 37 years old. And here's me
Mm.
like stomping into my first day of in-person classes. And I'm wearing like a suit because
Course you were.
it's business time, right? I'm
Yeah.
going to and it's like a 101 class. It's like, and I was like, and I sit in the front because I can't hear. And so I want to make sure I can hear everything that's happening. And I see like all these people. And I remember calling my friend from work at the other work, my job that I had left. And it's like, when did girls start wearing UGG boots, short shorts, and bikini tops to class? Because like that was the uniform. They were all wearing it. And I was like, is this a sorority? Like, what's happening? And I looked like everyone's narc mom. It was an adjustment, and especially being so
Oh,
much
I can
older
only
than everyone
imagine.
and not
Yeah.
having gone. I mean, remember, I just learned how to use a computer like 6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
doing that and then going back to the beginning and taking 101 classes. And I remember that my husband and I mapped out a very aggressive schedule so that I could get my degree faster. So
Okay.
I was taking 7 classes a semester, which normally you take 3 or 4, and
Yeah.
I made lifelong friends, and I mean, I was so proud of myself that
You
although I
should
was
be.
dealing with, like, this personal tragedy and I was losing my parents, I was keeping my commitment. I was thriving in brand new place I never thought I would be, and I didn't
Yeah.
do it alone. Like, none of that stuff was by myself. I had help from everywhere, every direction it could because the universe was talking to me. You guys, and I mean, I really believe this. Like, the
You
universe was, like,
started, yeah.
making things happen, and it wasn't
Mhm.
me fighting for any of it. It was just coming to me in abundance,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like, we have to listen to those things in our lives. When everything's hard, you're doing the wrong thing, you're with the wrong person, you're in the wrong environment,
Uh,
or you need an
Preach.
attitude change. You need a good,
Preach.
swift kick in the
Mhm.
ass and a spiritual realignment,
Yep.
right? To get
Yep.
yourself back on the right track.
Yes.
So I remember when I got my degree, when I was graduating, I invited my boss to come and see me graduate. He came. I got a job offer that night to come back, making
Lisa.
more, like way more than I was making before, making like real salary, doing a real job. I mean, it's been 18 years, and I'm
Wow.
still there, still learning, still doing crazy things I never thought I'd be doing, still like thriving.
Lisa, I'm just so proud of you for doing that. That took a lot of courage. I
I
mean,
put it all on the line. I mean, you
wow.
you have to be willing to do that sometimes because I couldn't find another way out. But people like this, the moral of the story, if they're the right people, they rise up to help you,
Yeah,
you
that's such
know?
a good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
for
a really good
sure.
point.
For sure.
Oh
So
my
don't
gosh.
be afraid. Like if you're older, want is something that is not what you have. Map out those pathways and find those ways to get it.
Well, and I think that you brought up a really good point too, is that you had to take a risk that was scary probably, that was
Yeah,
uncomfortable
for everyone.
financially,
Mhm.
right? Like a financial um not only risk but kind of like shocker.
Mhm.
And I mean, thank goodness you had the support that you had
Yeah.
to be able to do that, but you had to make that decision and say, "I'm gonna jump in head first and I'm just gonna do it."
Yep.
And hats off to you because in the industry that we were in, it was so easy to get wrapped up in the money and the fame of it
So
or
much
whatever,
money.
right?
And, like, the toxic relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like, the abusive relationship of, "What are you
Yeah.
gonna do for me?" Like, constantly trying to get the approval of people who, 1, don't deserve it, but B,
Right.
like, it's all about that gold star, right?
Right.
Like, and
Every
every
day.
day you had to start over and try
Yeah.
and get it again and again and again, and it's like a toxic an abusive relationship,
Which I
for
think we
sure.
see a lot of people, and it could be changing now,
Yeah.
but I see a lot of people back then who didn't go to college because
Mhm.
they were making so much money. It was like, why would I need a degree? And you didn't need a degree, and you could be promoted and promoted without
Mhm.
one.
Right.
So a college degree did not matter.
Right.
So for you to recognize that in order to continue to move forward and move up for yourself and do better, to go back and get that degree, like it's scary.
I have a master's now.
Ah, I
Like, I went
love
back
that.
and got my master's while I worked full time. I went online.
Yeah, I
Now,
love
like,
that.
it's not from like a fancy university, but it's an accredited university.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, I can't tell you. I know that everybody can't afford to go back to school. And but I think that there's ways to get what you want. You just, again, have to kind of map that out and
Yeah.
figure out how that's going to work for you. Don't do what I did and get caught into only understanding your universe because there's lots of worlds out there, lots and lots
It's
of
a good
worlds,
tip. That
and you're
is a
never too
really
old.
that's also another good one because I mean, yeah, what is too old? Like
Yeah,
honestly, I think right now we're putting age caps on so many things and so many industries or roles or whatever, and it's like
yeah,
really, what is too old? So like, is 40 now the new 60? Like
yeah,
because people are working longer, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm 54, right?
Okay.
And we are in an industry that is also shedding thousands of jobs a day.
Yeah.
And so, I'm no dummy. Like you and I are trying to talk about, okay, if this and that, if this and that, because that's my brand of anxiety anyway, is making sure that I have lots of different plans, if this and that, if this and
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
so we have been talking about that. And I'll tell you, you guys, when I'm talking to people about like, hey, what do you think could be next for me? They're like, well, why don't you retire? And I'm like, I'm not ready to retire. I don't want to
No.
retire. Like, I feel like I have a lot left to give. And I know that there's a lot of you out there that I've seen the LinkedIn posts, I've seen the articles in the Atlantic and CNN and all sorts of other news outlets of people, specifically women, that have been told that, you're kind of out of the running for lots of jobs
Mhm.
because of your age. And here's what I'll say to that. I have friends that are older than me and more experienced than me. And depending on their opinion of themselves and their network and how long they've been really negotiating what's next,
Mhm.
1000% impacts how successful they are in their next pivot. So, and their
Yeah.
confidence, right? So I think that, trying to kind of throw yourself out there and learn and develop new skills that will help you in this modern environment will
Yeah.
not hurt.
No, I mean, is there anything else you think that would be beneficial? I know your pivot was at a time in your life where you had the opportunity to, change direction, right? And
Yeah.
the universe basically was almost telling you that that's what
Yeah.
needed to happen and you
Yeah.
listened. Do you have any other advice for anyone out there that's reaching kind of that wakes up every day and is
Mm.
like, it's just not working. Like,
Yeah.
this is not happening for me.
Yeah. So one, if you guys, you're not alone, right? So if you just need to talk to the void, send us a message. Talk to us about what you're up against and what you're kind of going through. Like reach out to us on our email. It's at the beginning of the podcast. And I'll follow up at the end today with all of the ways that you can contact us. We're here to help. That's part of what we're trying to do to like give you guys advice and help you and lift you up when you need it. The second is, I would say, the longer you stay in the wrong situation,
Mhm.
it's time you're taking away from the right situation. So
Oh,
that's like,
I wish you would have told me that
yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
That's a
And
good
it's
one.
true, right? And then
Mhm.
the last but not least, I feel like as long as you don't give up and you keep trying and use different tactics, right? So if
Mhm.
every single day you're trying to find a job in a certain industry and it's not working, change industries. Look for different
Mhm.
things somewhere else. We
Where you
both
have
have,
transferable skills, right? Like,
yep,
maybe where you can show up, yeah,
yes.
where you can add
It's
value.
it's I always say when a flower doesn't grow, you don't blame the flower, you blame the environment.
Mhm.
Pinterest, everybody. And it's true though. I felt seen when I read that because it really is true. So again, listen to the universe, making sure that you're talking to everybody around you, getting help from the right places, making
Mhm.
sure that you're not spending time, don't overstay your welcome. Like
Mhm. It's a big
give that
lesson.
energy and that drive to a new situation or a new job, a new person, new relationship, whatever it is, and then just keep getting up. As
Yeah.
Captain Marvel says, just keep getting up. You guys, I never thought in a million years. I pinch myself all the time. Like, I love this work and I love the community of people that I get to work with. And Lisa and I, because we wanted to make sure that we don't kind of get too comfortable, we wanted to try something new. So we started a podcast, right? So that we would have something to do should, one of us find ourselves at home or we didn't want to feel like we were doing nothing. So we trying something creative, right?
Yeah.
To see if this is going to work. So you could do a million different things. Doing nothing is not an option.
Right. I think something too that you said that I've actually found myself maybe not being able to change my attitude fast enough. It was a really good point that I think you made is by saying that you had to stay positive no matter what that looks like. Figure it out because
Mhm.
your bad energy will move with you to the next job. It's going to
Yep.
move with you to and it's going to actually block you from getting that next great thing.
Yeah, repair or repeat, right? So
Mhm.
that's one of the things that a trainer that I work with that I'm hoping to bring on the pod, so I don't want to ruin anything, but they were constantly telling me, until you fix this bad behavior, you're going to continue to get this injury, and you're going to
Mhm.
continue to repeat yourself in injury over and over and over. You have to repair the behavior or you will continue to repeat it. And I think that's really applicable to everything we do,
Totally.
right?
I'm
Yeah.
taking that one.
Do
Well,
it.
my gosh, Lisa, thank you so much for telling
You're
your
welcome.
story. I know that, you have had 2 very successful careers
Thanks.
in 2 completely different industries, and you have made your mark. It's not over yet,
Mm.
definitely not over yet, but I really appreciate you, kinda walking us through it and telling your story and giving us some tips on how to maybe avoid some things in the future and help us to all of the gold star whores out there who are finding themselves maybe needing to make a change, take the leap, go back to school,
Mhm.
um, whatever that looks like. So thank
Yep.
you so much.
You're welcome. So, with that, we're going to set you free. So, you guys go out there, have a great week, keep getting up, and figure out what the universe is telling you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks,
Yeah. Okay.
everyone.
You guys have a great week. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, hoes, we really appreciate you listening today. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please remember to like and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you listen to us. If you want more nonstop shenanigans, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, GSW underscore podcast. Follow us on Instagram at gold underscore star underscore whores. Or if you want to send us a story or ask for advice from a couple of seasoned gold star whores, you can email us at gsw4life5472@gmail.com. We'd also like to give Rob a special thank you for all your help with editing and helping us to create our logo. You really are an amazing gold star whore.